Hey everybody, this is Chelsea Shaffer.
And Kaitlin Gustave.
And this is The Score, the official podcast of the sport of team roping. This is the Team Roping Journal's semi-weekly podcast highlighting the team roping industry's top talents and influencers through stories that inspire and connect ropers. We sit down with ropers from the professional ranks as well as industry icons and producers to delve into topics that make the team roping world tick. This is season 2. It will feature even deeper interviews, storytelling, and issue-based coverage, and we are so excited you're here. Hey everybody, this is Chelsea
And Kaitlin.
and welcome to The Short Score. This is the first full week of August, and there's lots of small rodeos going on all over the country and lots of little money ones, so we're looking forward to talking to you all about that. Later in this episode, you will get to hear from Matt Sherwood and then Hunter Koch, who went on a big old heater in this last week, won about $14,000, including some money in Canada that hasn't quite hit the standings as of this recording. So we're really excited to visit with them. We haven't talked to Matt Sherwood ever for this podcast, and we have definitely never talked to Hunter Koch. Well, Kaitlin did, because she college rodeoed with him a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. That was definitely out of my
maybe
age
we had
range.
to borrow his horse one time.
Good
times.
Perfect. So we get to talk to them. I think you guys will really get a lot out of this because Sherwood is always so insightful. He's got a lot of good perspectives on professional rodeo, and Hunter has a completely different perspective because he's pretty young. He's kind of learning the ropes, healing behind a 2-time world champ. So yeah, so here we are.
Here we are.
Kaitlin?
Pro Rodeo update. Obviously, like Chelsea said, Matt Sherwood and Hunter Koch, they added over $14,000 to their earnings. I only had $10,000 to their earnings because, obviously, Strathmore was not in the standings yet.
Mm-hmm.
They won Strathmore with a 5.5 second run, and then they won second at Regina, Saskatchewan, with a 4.4 second run.
You're just nailing these Canadian
I've been
pronunciations.
practicing. Are you proud of me?
Oh, the California school district. The school districts in California do not teach their Canadian provinces very well.
They don't. I'm
No.
sorry. And then they tied Ren Richard and Clint Summers for 4th at Heber City, Utah, with a 4.8 second run. And they won the Preston, Idaho Rodeo with a 4.8 second run. And then they placed 4th in the average at Great Falls, Montana, with a 14.9 seconds on 2 head, and placed second in the second round with a 4.3 second run. Lots of winnings. Lots of winnings.
And then Caleb and Junior, we're glad to see them go on a heater because Junior said he's just been fighting it. It's been a slow summer, yada, yada. Not that bad. They picked up almost $11,000 over the last week, so that's exciting.
Not bad at all.
They won Dodge City, which is a cool old cowboy rodeo, Dodge City Roundup. They won the average there with 16.3 on 3 head, worth $4,103 a man. They placed in the final round, the second round, and the first round. They won the first round. They split the first round, excuse me. So good deal for them. Glad to see it. And then they won 3rd in Phillipsburg, Kansas. They tied with Garrett Tanazi and Justin Davis there. So not a bad trip for Caleb and Junior.
No, not at all. Then we have Junior Dees and Lane Siggins. Obviously, they won the BFI this year. They tied for 1st at Idaho Falls with a 4.4 second round. That paid almost $3,000 a man. In the first round at Great Falls, Montana, they tied for 1st with a 4.7 second run. Glasgow, Montana, in the first round, they tied for 2nd with a 4.9 second run. In the second round, they tied again for 5th with a 5.1 second run, and they won the average with a time of 10 seconds on 2 head. And then Castle Rock, Colorado, they placed 4th with a 5.9 second run. In total, they added a little over $8,000 to their earnings, so it's good for them. Then Chad Masters and Joseph Harrison. I don't know if you've been noticing it, but I've been noticing it, and they've been tying. Like, every week I see them, like, they're always tying someone.
They're just steady eddies.
They are steady. I think it's awesome. They placed 6th at Dalhart. They were kind of long there. Must have got a leg in there.
You don't know. Chad could have rode
Maybe.
to the backside.
Yeah, I mean, that too. But Dodge City, Kansas, they tied for third in the first round with a 5.1. And in the final round, they tied for second with a 5.9 second run. And they placed second in the average with a time of 16.7 seconds on 3 head. And that paid $3,567 a man. Chad and Joseph, they added $6,414 to their earnings.
That's awesome. And then Luke and Paul, they won about $5,600 between Abilene, Kansas, Dodge City, Kansas, and Dalhart, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Clay Smith, leading the world standings, him and Jade Corkill won $5,500 between Phillipsburg and Abilene, Kansas. Tanner Baldwin and Nano Garza won Castle Rock, Colorado. They won Preston, Idaho. And then
are leading.
They're leading Loveland, Colorado.
Yep, with that 4 flat.
That was a smoking run.
It was. Actually, if you have not seen it, it is up on our website and it's shared on social media right now on Facebook.
Oh, you videoed it?
I did.
Somehow I
did
missed
video.
all of those activities.
Yeah,
Was a little busy.
Last night was a little busy.
Last night was a little busy. So Tanner, we would be remiss if we didn't thank Tanner and thank all the guys that were up at Loveland last night. My husband got his finger in his dally, which he probably, I hope he doesn't even listen to this because he will hate me for even bringing it up.
Yeah, probably.
Cut off part of his ring finger. But Tanner Baldwin, Trey Yates, Buddy Hawkins, every single guy that was up, they jumped in to help. So sorry,
Thank you,
Tori,
guys.
that I have a podcast and can talk. So, special thanks to everybody that jumped in and was of great assistance.
No kidding. Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a train wreck.
It sure was. All right,
Good
moving
people.
on.
Good things happen to good people, though. So.
Except Tori cut his fingers off, so are you saying he's not a good person?
Something good's coming out of it.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Glad that's
I'm
what
not
you meant.
saying Tori's a bad person. Tori's like my brother, so.
All right. Moving on. Spencer Mitchell and Cody Dosher, Heber City, they won Heber City. They picked up $4,063. Clay Tryon and Travis Graves, they placed at Phillipsburg and Abilene. They won about $3,800 on the weekend. Bradley Day, Taylor Williams picked up $3,181 at Great Falls, Montana. Bradley Day and Taylor Williams, they picked up $3,181 in Great Falls, Montana. They won the average there. Lane Goebel and Lucas Falconer picked up $2,273 in Wisconsin and won that rodeo.
And Resistol Rookies. That Garrett chick, I think he's getting on a roll right now.
Yeah?
I think so. He's roping with Ross Ashford. They tied for first at Dodge City in the second round with a 4.3 second run, and then they placed 10th with a 9.9 second run at Abilene, Kansas. Garrett's second behind Cal Fuller in the Resistol Rookie heading standings. He's pretty close now.
Man.
Cooper White and Tucker White, they tied for first at Ashley, North Dakota with a 5.5 second run. Mason Bocher.
That is Turtle Pal's nephew.
Mm-hmm.
And I did see Mason. I think I'm Facebook friends with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that he put #Oto on one of his posts. So that means he's riding Turtle's cool NFR horse that came from Barry Smith. It was a barrel horse.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it was a super. So anyways, Mason, glad that you put #Oto so I knew that that's the horse you were riding. I hope you weren't tricking me. But
he and Eddie Medina placed third in the second round at Dodge City with a 4.6 second run. Moving on, that Coy Britton, he and Colton Britton tied for third with a 6.1 second run at Hill City, Kansas. That Peyton Bray every time with Eric Rogers. They tied for ninth in Regina, Saskatchewan with a 9.5 second run. Placed sixth at Heber City with a 5.1. Tied for fifth with a 5.3 second run at Preston, Idaho. And placed fourth in the average at Gaskell, Montana with a time of 11.4 seconds on 2 head. And also won the first round with a 4.4 second run. That Peyton, I don't think they can touch him in the healing standings. I'm not sure.
he probably has a lot of rodeos left too because he didn't go hard this winter.
Yeah. Wyatt Hansen, he's second in the healing standings. He placed second at Santa Rosa, California with a 5.8 second run. Michael Tash placed third at Dalhart. Drew Carnes tied for second at Gary, New York. And Clancy Kreitzer, he is also in the Mountain State Circuit.
I didn't realize Clancy was on his...
I didn't either. And all of a sudden, he shot up in the standings. He wasn't even in it. Him with Jay Stout, they placed third at Castle Rock. They tied Zane Murphy and Judd Jackson at Steamboat Springs, Colorado. And they also won Rifle, Colorado with a 5.1 second run. And then Brush and Mitten tied with Clay Ruiz and Brent Lockett at Santa Barbara, California with a 5.6 second run.
So right now I'm looking at the healing standings. Like you said, Peyton Bray has a $20,000 lead in the healing. He's ahead of Wyatt Hansen. So that's super impressive. The heading race is way, way closer. Cal Fuller...
I was going to say, it definitely got a lot closer now.
Yeah, Cal Fuller's got $22,699. He's a Montana kid. Garrett Chick from Salado, Texas has $21,500.37. So that's just one rodeo separating those guys. That's going to be a really fun race to watch. They're both, still rodeoing. They've both got a lot of time left to get that money won, so it'll be fun to watch for the next couple months.
That's awesome. That's so exciting. I love the Resistol Rookie race. And then moving on to circuit update, we're just going to roll right through these. The Badlands circuit, that John Peterson and Trey Smith, they're still leading the standings. They tied for fourth at Ashley, North Dakota, and placed fourth in the second round at Glasgow, Montana. Cooper and Tucker White, they tied for first at Ashley, North Dakota. So they're moving up in the Badlands circuit. In the California circuit, Blake Hurdes and Cody Cowden won Santa Rosa, California, and placed sixth at Santa Barbara, California. Pat Boyle and Jared Hickson won Santa Barbara, California with a 5.1 second run.
But we got to say, in California, Spencer Mitchell's still leading those circuit standings. He's got $18,001. He's about $2,000 ahead of Blake Hurdes. And Nano Garza is leading the healing. He's got $23,001. He's got a $10,000 lead over Cody Cowden there in California.
That's awesome. More California updates. Les Moore and Brush and Mitten. They obviously tied at Santa Barbara, California. CJ DeForest Jr. and Andy Holcomb. They placed 8th at Santa Barbara and placed 4th at Santa Rosa. Moving on, First Frontier, that Ty Barger and Drew Carnes. Obviously, we said before in the rookie race, they tied for second at Gary, New York. Kyle Letzeltler and Casey Cox, they placed fifth at Gary, New York. And Darren Morgan and Morgan Jones won Gary, New York. In the Great Lakes Circuit, we talked about him, Lane Goebel and Lucas Falconer tied for first at Wausau, Wisconsin. And then in Sydney, Iowa, they won the average there with a time of 15.1 seconds on two head, won the first round, and placed second in the second round.
There in the Great Lakes Circuit, the circuit leader is Coy Rahman in the heading. He's got 9,001. That's a really close race between him and Lane Goebel. And in the healing, Ryan Von On, he's got 14,001. He's about 6,000 ahead of Lucas Falconer there in the Great Lakes Circuit.
That's awesome. That Mitchell Barney and J.W. Nelson, they placed second in the average at Sydney, Iowa, second in the first round, and third in the second round.
All right, in Canada, Steele DiPaoli and Trent Tunk, they tied Colton Schmidt and Jeremy Bueller with a 5.7 second run for third, worth $706 a man in High Prairie, Alberta. In Regina, Saskatchewan, they won the rodeo, won $2,600. There in Canada, Riley Warren, he is leading the standings. He's got about 2,000 ahead of Keely Bonnet in the heading, in the healing. And Clay Eulery has $16,726 won. He's about 3,000 ahead of Tufton McLeod at second. They're in the Canadian standings. So now into Montana, Kaitlin.
Radley Day and Taylor Williams, they won the average at Great Falls, Montana. They were 10.7 seconds on two head, and they tied Junior Dees and Lane Siggins for first in the first round with a 4.7 second run. That Dustin Bird and Sid Spoor, They placed second in the average at Great Falls, Montana, and they placed fourth in the first round. And they also played second in the average at Glasgow, Montana, and fifth in the first round.
So the folks in Montana are sad that Dustin came home to rodeo because he's now jumped ahead in the standings. He's leading the circuit standings by about $700. He's got 8,701 over Sean Bessett of Great Falls, Montana. And in the heeling, Ike Folsom, he's about $2,000 ahead of Sid Sporer. So Sid is roping with Dustin, though, so it'll be cool to see how that kind of plays out as the year unfolds.
That is awesome. Mountain States, we talked about them earlier, that Jay Stout and Clancy Kreitzer. They placed third at Castle Rock, tied Zane Murphy and Judd Jackson at Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and won Rifle, Colorado. Travis Browns and Joe Roddick, they tied Clayton Van Aken and Colin Teller for first at Steamboat Springs with a 5.4 second run, and placed second at Rifle, Colorado with a 5.7 second run.
Go Joe Rod! He's probably my favorite healer in pro rodeo.
And then the Prairie Circuit, Coleman Proctor, he's got Ryan Moats. Coleman Proctor's in the Prairie Circuit. They placed in the second round at Dodge City, Kansas with a 5.2 second run. And then Nick Becker and Dawson McMaster, they at Dodge City, Kansas, placed seventh in the second round with a 5.3. Tied Chad Masters and Joseph Harrison for second in the final round with a 5.9, and placed fifth in the average with a time of 18.3 seconds on three head. And then they also placed second at Hill City, Kansas with a 5.8 second run. Wilderness Circuit, Zane Barnson and Owen Pullum, they tied T. Wade and Billy Jack Savins for second at Heber City, Utah with a 4.7 second run. Chaz Kanian and Tyler Whitlow tied Stephen and Jason Doobie and Junior Dees and Lane Siggins for first at Idaho Falls with a 4.4 second run. And as we said before, that Matt Sherwood and Hunter Koch, they're in the Wilderness Circuit, and they added a crap ton to their earnings. So
nice. That Zane Barnson, he's the one that's leading the Wilderness Circuit. You mentioned him just a minute ago. And his healer, Olin Pullum, he is also leading it in the healing. So it's a tight race in the Wilderness Circuit. So we'll be following that one.
That's exciting.
All right. So if you've made it through all of our pro rodeo results, your reward is very fun interviews with Matt Sherwood and Hunter Koch. Thanks, everybody. Oh, well, we are just doing our short score. Do you ever listen to our podcast? Are you a podcast guy, Matt?
I'm not.
You're not. That's okay. You don't have to be. But no, we were working on the short score this morning, and Kaitlin pulled all the numbers, and she has that you won about 10,000 last week. Was it fun?
It was awesome because we'd had a couple of bad weeks, and so it was a really good week.
Yeah. What was the highlight?
The highlight, I would say, was I got out of the barrier and turned 8 steers out of 8 steers. Did my job.
What horse were you riding?
I rode my sorrel mare everywhere except for one. I borrowed a horse. We actually, I don't know how to word this without sounding. We actually won just a little bit over 14,000.
Oh man, we missed a little bit then. That's awesome.
Yeah, we went to 2 rodeos Sunday in Canada, and we won second at one and third at one. I borrowed Roland McFadden's horse at one of those at Regina. Mm-hmm. And then I rode my sorrel mare everywhere else.
Your sorrel mare is just outstanding. She's been good all year, huh?
Man, working so good. We've had so many chances.
That's awesome. In Canada, do you usually do the northern route? Do you usually go up to Canada, or you?
Man, I've done it maybe 4 or 5 times in the last 10 or 12 years where I went up there and spent a lot of time. So Hunter dates a girl from Canada, so he spent all spring and early summer up there, so I flew back and forth.
Your rhythm with Hunter's been pretty great this last week. How has the summer been with him and kind of getting him seasoned on the rodeo road too?
Hunter Hill's amazing. We've had a couple of stretches where we haven't done good, which is, it's always frustrating when you feel like your rope good, your partner rope's good, and you're not doing any good, and we got way behind in the standings, and so it's kind of been a roller coaster, but this week really put us back and gave us a chance. So we just got to keep that momentum going and keep going, finish the year.
Are you guys in San Juan?
We are. We're in San Juan Saturday.
Gotcha. So what is just stay hooked? Are you going to go at them all year? Tell me how the rest of the year is going to look as far as your game plan.
We're going to finish the year out as strong as we can. Rodeo count's down 10 from last year.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting still have a lot of rodeos left, but there's a lot of rodeos that we'll have to kind of pick and choose just because we do have limited rodeos. So we're definitely going to go through the end of the year, but there'll be a few rodeos that we don't get to just because of numbers.
Were you part of the rodeo count decision-making process at the time when that happened, Matt?
I wasn't. They asked me for my vote, and I turned in a vote, but other than that, I didn't have anything to do with it.
Gotcha. How are you feeling about the rodeo count right now and how 65 rodeos is going to play into your year?
I'm fine with it. It does change. It does change strategy just a little tiny bit. I see two sides of it. There's some good rodeos that I'm not going to go to because I'm out of rodeos. So that that's kind of sucks. It's the same for everybody, but it does make it nice that there are some rodeos that normally you would feel like you had to go to that are 7 or 8 hours, 10, 12 hours. I didn't enter Baker, Montana. It's 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a 24-hour drive, for one rodeo. But because of the limited numbers, I didn't feel like I had to go. I could make it up with a different rodeo somewhere. So in that part of it was, to me is nice.
Gotcha. So you've got 50,000 one right now. Is that right? That's what the PRCA has. 50,170. Is that what you think?
That's correct, except Strathmore is not in there. It was 2,800 at Strathmore, so 53,000.
Nice. That's one of the things we were missing then. So what are you thinking it's going to take this year?
I think it's going to take 70,000.
You think it's going to take 70? Gotcha.
I'm in 14th with that.
Yeah, with the extra, you will jump up ahead of T-Wade with the extra.
So that puts 15th at 50,000 right now. I know Tyler Wade has more than 20 rodeos left, and it's pretty straightforward $1,000 a rodeo. So it gets harder this time of year. Earlier in the year, there's more big rodeos, and 1,000 a rodeo is more easily achievable. So it might be just a little bit less, but I bet it's close to 70 by the time we're done.
And Hunter's got 60-some thousand right now. Would he? So he's got 60,000 according to the PRCA right now. So with Strathmore, he'll have about 62. That'll put him at 10th probably.
Yeah.
What does that mean? You've gotten a couple young guys to the finals now. That's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'll be, hopefully we can keep going, and that'll be his first finals. He had a really good winter and spring, and so he's kind of been, doesn't want to get ahead of himself, but has been excited about it, and it is really cool. It's exciting to see someone make the finals for the first time, and to be a little bit of a part of that. It's exciting.
Now, I don't know him very much. What should fans, Team Roping fans, know about Hunter?
Hunter is a true Texan.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. He's a great kid. He's a good, straight. There's nothing about him no wild side. He works hard. He takes his roping serious. Great Christian kid. I really enjoy roping with him.
That's awesome. That fits in with your crew pretty well then.
Yeah, he's been to my house a little bit and stayed, got to know everyone, and everyone really enjoyed him.
Awesome, Matt. Hey, thanks so much for letting us call you out of the blue.
And you bet you call me anytime.
Hey, Hunter, this is Chelsea from the Team Roping Journal. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Chelsea?
I am good. Hey, I just talked to Matt. We're just working on working on the Score podcast for this week, and I wanted to see if you could visit for a few minutes.
Yeah, I think you're good.
Awesome. Well, we called Matt because we had to ask how to say your last name because we've screwed it up so many times. So he tells us it's Cook. Does your partner actually know how to say it? It's Cook? Okay, Perfect.
Yes, it is good. It's spelled weird.
No, it's not. It's not your fault for how your name is spelled. It's not weird. We just are inadequate in our pronunciation. So I'm glad you clarified that for us. Now, you guys had a huge week. Tell me about it. How much fun was it?
It was awesome. It was even better because I struggled pretty good in most of the month of July after the 4th. It kind of went downhill for a little while, and I was just fortunate enough to have a partner like Matt that just stays positive and keeps the vibe good, and he just kept saying, it's going to be all right, we're going to work through it, there's a lot of good rodeos left, and he just kept saying that after every run. Just keep working, keep going at it, and just trusting the process. And this week, everything kind of came together. Horses were both working outstanding, and Matt did a great job, and we were drawing good, and just one of them deals where it felt easy to do your job, and it worked out really good for us.
What caused the struggle, I guess, after the 4th of July? What were you fighting?
So after the 4th, I felt like most of my whole career, I've been a guy that I feel like throws pretty fast, just kind of trying to rope steers on the first hop that weren't ready to be roped yet.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of needed to just, Matt, he was getting out of the barrier really good and getting it on him, and it was almost like I was just picking my shot before it was even there, and then they just weren't ready yet. So I kind of was watching videos, and I got to go home for 4 days in practice, and I bet I ran 60 steers a day when I went home, and just had my header do the same thing, just go fast, turn them, try not to just baby the handle, give me real looks, and I would just get to my spot, take a couple more swings, and catch them on the second or third jump. And that's what I felt like I did all week this week. Matt did the same thing he always does. He got a good start, got it on him, and I was just waiting until the steers were ready to heel before I heeled them, and it finally clicked.
Yeah, that sure seems like a common theme amongst heelers, except the only person that probably doesn't say that is Junior. He kind of tells me the opposite, but it seems like Jade was working on that same thing, and it clicked. I think you guys are onto something. So
yes, ma'am.
That's awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
What horse are you riding this year, Hunter?
I got 2 horses. I got a 9-year-old that I bought from Caleb Driggers at the end of this winter, and he has been awesome. He hasn't really been rodeoing all that much, but as soon as I got him, I took him to San Antonio, Houston. I just put him on the scene as soon as I got him. He's a real easy horse, super awesome. Just been, if you mess up, it's never his fault. It's something that you did. Mm-hmm. And so I've been riding him a lot, and then I also got a horse that's 21 years old. I bought him last year, and I rode him all in California and about half of the place this summer, and he doesn't have any papers or nothing. No one knows how he's bred. He's just a winner. He's a good old horse that is fast and works good, and pretty blessed with the 2 horses I have, really.
That's pretty cool.
They're pretty awesome horses.
Where did the old horse come from now? Or was he...
He came from a guy named Daryl Elliott. He's a chiropractor around the Weatherford, Texas area. Mm-hmm. And it's a cool story on him, actually. He was just kind of a practice horse. And last year I was roping with Billy Bob Brown, and I needed a horse to practice on for the day. And Daryl came by and he said, "Here, you can ride this horse, run as many as you want. He's a practice horse, whatever." And I ran 3 steers on him and said, "Man, Daryl, I need this horse. I need to do something with you." And it worked out.
That is too cool. What do you call him?
I call him Daryl.
Oh, you call him Daryl. That's perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome. How are you feeling having, you're about 10... Matt said earlier when we talked to him that he thinks it's going to take about $70,000 to have the finals made. You're about 8,000 away from that, 7,000. How does that feel right now? Are you?
Well, it kind of at first like makes me nervous, but I think it's a good nervous. It's more of an excited nervous.
That's awesome.
I don't want to think too far ahead because I don't want to let that kind of control my actions and make me start thinking differently. I kind of just am trying to feel grateful for where I'm at, but still keep my chin down and keep focusing on catching the steers I need to catch to get me there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really thinking about it too much, but I am kind of excited at the same time.
Perfect. Well, that's exciting. We're excited for you. And now that we know how to say your last name, we can talk about you even more, because I will say I kind of avoid names that I don't know how to say. So now it's there's we will be looking forward to speaking with you again very soon, because you guys are going to stay on this roll, I hope.
Oh, perfect. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Hunter.
You have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye. All right, thank you all for hanging with us on this episode. We were so glad to have you. We had so much to say today. Thank you all. And Kaitlin, thanks for pulling this all together.
Hey, you're welcome. It's what I'm here for.
Yeah, you're MVP partner. Thanks, guys.